going on, world? It's your boy at Big Game James _36, and this is at Big Games BS, part of Den Media Group. And shoot, it's Wednesday. Been gone since we haven't done a show in a week, so I'm apologize if you're. I really hate this Facebook thing. I can't share it the way I used to share it. Facebook is trying to fuck with the church's money, so like right now, so they're really bothering me. So sorry about that. If people could get on right now, give this a share, give it a retweet, give it a like, whether it's on Facebook. Check us out on the YouTube stream. I actually get paid a little bit more for that. All these different things going on. So if you're under a rock or you didn't know, so I do my this is my third year I've been doing my book bag drop. So I finally got it finished. We did Tallahassee, shut the whole hood down. I encourage everybody in America to have their own Nino Brown moment. Like, you got to have your own Nino Brown moment. Like, if you don't know, if you've never seen the movie New Jack City, he goes out, there's a scene where he takes turkeys and he's throwing it. I've done that too. That shit feels great. Like, I just tossed the turkey at a kid and just frozen turkey, 20-pound frozen turkey, like hit a kid in the chest cavity. It was awesome. But we had Duval on the 30th and the 31st. We had about 700 cars come through Duval. And we fed them. Thought we were going to run out of food. Shout out to Coach Foy, Andrew Jackson High School. And then we did Tallahassee, and we were in the Bond community over off of Saxon. Kind of, people call that kind of similar to Holton Street area. Rough area. We accomplished. I know we gave away about 1,100 book bags, and I think but we had about 800 to 900 cars come through. So Tallahassee was a much bigger deal. I had no idea. My cameraman, and I got some of the video. Hopefully some of that will be dropping today or tomorrow. My cameraman just made my dick grow about 4 inches. Like, with what he told me. He was just like, yo, should I know who you are? Like, everybody's telling me how big of a deal this is for the city, and for me to be able to, showcase this, is this, and I'm like, well, damn, I didn't realize I was that big of a deal. And the cool thing about it, and this is going to be my campaign during all football season. So the fucked up part is a lot of you media folks are going to hate me because I got access to these athletes with Micanopy 1851. Not one of you motherfuckers was there to cover that shit. You know how much easier it would have been to raise the money for the goal if I'd have just got one. If one of y'all would have read the press release that went out to every one of y'all. Just one. No war chant, no 247, no tomahawk, no chop, no trying to make sure I don't forget about Logan with no game day, even though I fucks with Logan. You my guy. But, like, I didn't even get a retweet. Not even a like. I remember the first year I did it, Irish Chauffeur asked me, he's like, damn, James, if I'd have known about this, I'd have gave you this. I'd have at least talked about it. Nobody talked about it. It's literally been my pinned fucking tweet for almost 2 months. But with or without any of your involvement, we raised close to $70,000 in the month of July, and it was dope. It was a great experience. Loved it. And forget about me. Like, it would have helped me raise the money, and we could have made it a bigger deal. But, like, if you see right now pictured, if you're not watching the YouTube, if you're listening to SoundCloud or other ways, please go check out the YouTube again. I get credit for those views. We got a picture of Andrew Jackson. There's a big time prospect in there that's going to the University of South Carolina that actually told me he's impressed at how I was able to galvanize the FSU fan base to be able to help. That actually gave us a really good fucking look. Like, we could have really gone, like, I could have flipped that kid. I made jokes about flipping him. I could have legitimately gone and said, hey, man, I'll make sure that this is you. You can be me in Jacksonville if you sign to Florida State. But, we didn't even have that good. But I want to do this. I will like to give this, though. Big shout out to, again, for FSU people who aren't FSU fans or FSU fans. I want to really and I'm going to tell them again when I see them tomorrow at the football practice. But I really want to say thank you to Mike Norvell. Mike Norvell donated 125 bags, man. And for those who don't know, that's $4,500. That's a lot of money, man. Now, he makes a lot of money, but he didn't have to do that. Like, it was great. He was very very complimentary. I saw him, Coach Fuller, thank me, and AD Mike Alford really shouted it out as well, and I thought that was a big, like he retweeted it, and you know it's big to be recognized by your university, man, and to have them help it, and hopefully we expand this and we grow this. I told myself I ain't doing more than that. Like this shit was a bitch. Like a lot of people don't know what goes into organize. Even though I have somebody to help me organize, a lot of people don't know what goes into organizing stuff like this. But like, man, it's a lot of stress, and I'm a performance based guy, so like I don't really give a shit about the pregnancy. Just show me the baby, and you know, so you don't know until boom, it pops out. Even as it having my sons, so like my kids, all my kids. Um, you can call me superficial all you want, but like I really was concerned that I was gonna have an ugly baby. Like and like I mean, ugly. And then I was like, if I have an ugly baby, let it be boys, because ugly boys, as long as I could dress them up good, give them a little sauce, give them some swag, they're gonna get somebody. But ugly girl, whew, Jesus, that's for life. Unless she can trap somebody or you know she does some other things, but like you know you don't want that those kind of things to happen to your daughter. But like you know you don't know if it's ugly until it pops out. So the baby popped out. It was beautiful. Again, like I said, shut the hood, shut out east down, shut Tallahassee down. It was phenomenal. Mama got to see me on the news, happy. You know, we did get a lot of news coverage locally in Tallahassee, but that's my hometown, and it was great. It's always good to go back home. They say you can't go back home, or prophet, like my Christian friends say, a prophet is without honor in his hometown. I don't know what the fuck that means. When I go home, I bring the whole city out. It's kind of like Jeezy said in Lose My Mind. Pop the top, no bra, got the titties out. Mention my name, you bring the whole city out. And that's kind of what happened, man. So I'm going to pat myself on the back, but really more so everybody who listens, every like, retweet, from the lowest donation was $5. The highest donation was about $10,000. I want to shout out Mayor Lenny Curry here in Jacksonville. His consistent donations, Terrence Freeman. I got to send this stuff over to Daniel Davis, Jacksonville Chamber of Commerce. Thank y'all. And big things too is, you know, without the money that we were short, shout out to ABC Fine Wine and Spirits and your big check for coming through right on time. That helped. And also shout out to Scott Hendricks with my business partner here, Goodfellas. I mean, I made a tweet. I said, man, this is how much we're short. Scott said, stop asking people for money. I got you. We're going to make this happen. And that's what I think people need to do. Something I'm planning on doing this fall, trying to, in an effort to produce more content, especially if this new deal comes through sooner than later. I'm going to do a show about shows. We're going to highlight podcasts, like things like Pivot, stuff like that. And we're going to do a show where we talk about different clips. So Kevin Hart talked about a clip about how to bring people together and how to make more money. And luckily I have a group of people that I'm around. Some make more than me, some make less. But we're all working together. Like Scott, I met through Denny Thompson, and we've become good friends, and he's giving me opportunities to make money. I host here in this beautiful cigar lounge 3 days a week. I could do 7 days a week if I fucking wanted to. There's no idea that he's turned down. I don't always go to him for money, but I'm pretty sure like with my comedy shows, I did that on my own. But if I said, Scott, I need a couple $1,000s to pay these artists, I'm pretty sure he would have done that. But just the fact that anything I've ever wanted to do, Scott has always been there to help. That's true friendship. And because I have a guy like Tom West, who's one of the biggest lacrosse coaches in the United States. Anything that I present to Tom, he's always trying to help me. Like, and if I have people doing that for me, so I try to inadvertently reach back out to people. So when we got Goodfellas, my guy Shannon Cheeseboro has knocked it out the fucking park. You guys who go to my tailgates know who Cheese is. Cheese cooks all the food. But now Cheese is basically the fucking chef here at Goodfellas Cigar Lounge. Like and now he's doing stuff without even talking to me about it. My guys got a brunch on Sunday, and they about to have this live ass band called That's Pressure. So every Sunday we'll have That's Pressure, live music, and he's gonna do the brunch. And it's nice. I put him in position because he's my guy, and then he knocked out, and now he's making his own waves. And that's how you grow stuff. You give hand ups and you give opportunities. As I grow, anybody around me grows. And that's really just all I try to do. Like, so if people don't like that about me, I guess, I don't know why, because there is really no intention. I'm not finna tell Cheese to give me a kickback. I just, maybe go down on the price when you cook it for me at the tailgate. But I'm not even going to ask you to do that because I want you to make your bread. But, like, that's just one example of millions of things that I do. I can't force you. You can only lead a horse to water. You can't force it to drink. So a lot of times when people do listen to me and kind of go about it the way I tell them with the plan, they make money. So kudos to that. God bless. And hopefully we'll be doing more. And so if you want to, if you're tired of the producer dancing in all the videos, jumping on all the songs, come on over to Death Row. We'll help you. We'll help you go make some money. I call myself Suge. A little bit nicer than Suge. I ain't gonna dangle. I will never dangle you over the balcony of a hotel. And the reason why is because they don't really have those anymore. That's one reason, because people were jumping. But number two, I won't do it. Somebody else might, but I will never do it to you. But I want you to be successful. And plenty of people have jumped on board, bought into the vision, and then left. And, I still wish them nothing but success. But, and I see them, with the stuff that they struggle with. But, like, it'd probably be a little bit more profitable if we would have just learned something. And that comes from personal advice, too. I left the company because I had to, but I probably left that company a little bit too early. And if I would have stayed, I try to think sometimes, if I would have stayed with the company that I was doing my training with one more year, what hurdles could I have left? But again, I'm only here because I got some friends who really do make bread that make sure that I get taken care of. And the way we do stuff around here is word is bond. So if I send you, you don't even need to like prove yourself. The only thing you're gonna is, you'll get the benefit of the doubt. So that's that. Something that I'm gonna talk about real quick because it's making waves on the timeline is NILs. And I wasn't really going to speak about this one in particular, but it does parlay into two major news events that have happened. FSU is having a new collective allegedly, but let's put things in perspective. But I'm going to address the elephant in the room. Too many people have opinions, and we'll have our NIL movement with me and Chris Frazier of Spiratics by fifth quarter. And we'll talk about this probably more in detail, but too many people have opinions about name, image, and likeness that don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And what I mean by that is it's like everybody's like, why? And it's only Florida State fans. I follow a lot of people. Other fan bases don't care as long as players get money. And there's this belief that if we are all under the same umbrella, that more money will be made and things will change. And that's just not how this shit works at all. How this works is collectives are like marketing agencies or an agent. Everybody doesn't sign to the same NFL agent. Everybody doesn't sign to the same collective. Not all there's doors that Rising Spirit gets into that I'll never be able to step foot in. And I'm okay with that. But nationally and other places, there are things that I can get into that Rising Spirit can't get into. There are things that I can do that they can't. And it's not because they're not any good at it. It's just the facts. Like, perfect example. Like, I don't think anybody throws a tailgate the way I throw a tailgate. Now, the other part of it is, why won't they just work with them? I can't work with somebody that's never opened the door. I interviewed on this day 4 years ago. I interviewed Charlie Ward for Jack Seminole Clubs, and we talked about, and we closed up a lot of rumors about him going to the NFL and not going. He's like, I couldn't go where they didn't interview me. He's like, nobody ever gave him a shot to play in the NFL. So for those who are wondering, like, how can I go and work with Rising Spirit when Rising Spirit has never reached out and said, James, can we partner with you for a tailgate? James, we know what you do at fifth quarter in your Discord. Can you give us a fan engagement thing that you've done organically? Nobody's ever done any of those things. But you know what I've done? I've literally reached out. There's a guy, Rylan Spear, I'm not gonna say who I talked to, who was a member of Fifth Quarter before all of these different things, who I literally go and say, hey man, I got a call from this player. They're struggling. How can we get them a Rising Spear? I've been like every player in Micanopy 1851 is highly encouraged to sign with Rising Spear. And if this new collective, which is Tallahassee NIL or TIL NIL, and they're not a true how not true collective. They're not how a lot of collectives have started. Like most collectives are organic to the university. This one is a national company, kind of like what Dreamfield was with A50 Warpath. And they're setting up things to where players can get that. It's a percentage that gets taken out, and that's on them. If our players come to me and say, hey, I want to sign with them, what we're going to do is we're going to read out. Like what happens if you're a Micanopy 1851 athlete, you don't need a lawyer. We got you. We got that on deck. You don't necessarily need a bank person. We got that on deck. There's things that we have on deck that we'll make sure that you're taken care of, that we can read over the stuff and explain it to you. One of the funniest things about Rising Spear, this is no knock on Rising Spear. It's just like when I ask for simple contracts, right? So a simple contract means if it's clear ask, clear give. Rising Spirit, I get why they did it. It's a lot of minutia in it. It's a lot of in case shit, a lot of cover your ass in it. And when I started seeing hither, there, and therefore, and that, I call it that Old Testament ass language in a contract, I immediately say, I'm not reading this shit. Give it to my lawyer. Like, and my lawyer's job is to tell me what the fuck this means. And typically, that's my sister. So, like, my sister, and again, this is what I try to tell people. Like, we have the resources because you know how many of these guys just have a family lawyer lying around? Very few. And you know what most lawyers do? They cost. Most of them ain't going to read over something for you for free. They ain't going to give you a counter offer for free. So that's kind of what we're doing with them as well. So like if they come to me, they present me the contract, read over it. If it's a shitty deal, I'm going to tell them not to take it. But at the end of the day, they're going to be knowledgeable and understand. And it's on them after that, what they want to do. I'm not going to shun them away. I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to say this. But for all those people who keep trying to, lump Micanopy 1851 into all this shit, we're not that. We're a collective about building the athlete. Now, we got some bars that's about to drop here in the next couple weeks with some deals. But, our guys are going to have these deals and they're going to perform so well, not because of what they do on the field, but they're going to perform in the marketing and the matrix and the metrics side of it, that they're going to get more money if they stick with us. Because it's not about the 4 years. It's about the 40. So I'm going to tell you this right now. Check your news feeds. If you're not at Micanopy 1851, go follow that shit. It's going to be shit coming up. And like, listen, man, hey, I'm saying cheers to myself with that. But on the NIL front, nationally, you got two major things that have hit. SMU has announced that their collective is paying every athlete that goes to every football player, I believe, $36,000 to it that is on the roster for SMU. So does that include walk-ons? I don't really know. $36,000. I don't think I gave you that one, Miles, but $36,000 is what I've always told people. About right where athletes want to be. It's not a lot of money. It's a lot of money to raise, but it's not a lot of money in the grand scheme of things. And they just want to play sports. But I don't know how it's going to work with the clear ask, clear give. A lot of this shit, when you really think about it, they don't give you many details. And they don't give you many details because whatever they say, they got to be held accountable for. And there is a rule. It's a clear ask, clear give. So I don't believe I think every athlete will have the opportunity to get $36,000. I don't believe that every athlete will get $36,000 because that's a lot of clear ask and clear gives, and there's not enough shit for 85 kids to do to be able to get that. But what you can pop up, Miles, is the University of South Carolina. Excuse me, big USC, not USC East. The University of Southern California, student body right, has created. There's a new collective, and it's called Student Body Right. But the collective that's already there for USC is called Boulevard, BLVD. And it's causing a ruckus because student body right is saying that they're creating an opportunity to pay each student athlete at USC X amount of dollars as well. And I think and they don't like that. And why they don't like that, I have no real idea why. But I know it's donor run. So a lot of their people are there. And then the University of Southern Cal is trying to fight it. And I think a lot of this has to do with oversight, and nobody really wants to get banged. And it's a lot of this stuff is not affiliated with the university, so I already want to be there. But what happens is, with much things in America, is run like politics, or in politics is run like what I believe gang culture is run like. Instead of accepting that there are some things that we just won't agree with on things, we have to have multiple stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's called capitalism, where I'm falling, like somebody else comes in and picks up the slack. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But then whatever it is, people who, Nas said, people fear what they don't understand and hate what they can't conquer. Like, instead of just embracing it and being like, you know what, this is just another opportunity for our student athletes to get paid, you have to hate that shit. You don't even know what you're hating. Just absolutely hate it. And they're believing that they can't deal with it. Now, Dale Reach, who is a part of it, is a Florida-based businessman, lifelong USC fan. He donated under Pete Carroll, and he stopped when he stopped afterwards because he didn't like the way they were going. They went and got top donors, and basically they're just saying that the donors, the details regarding how payments will be distributed to players has yet to be fantasized, but the collective's intent is to provide the equivalent of a base salary for every member of USC's football team who is academically eligible, basically everybody on their team. To receive these payments, players will perform community service and take part in charitable work for local organizations, a lot like what Rise and Spear does. Student body right is not the first outside NIL to apply for such status. They're tax deductible, so 501c3. Boulevard, the other one, is not a 501c3. I think Rise and Spear is trying to become a 501c3. What we've done with Micanopy 1851 is partner with if you want to give something to the student athletes. Right now, we're just in our student athletes who want to do charitable donations. We're going through my nonprofit, Mentors for the Kids, or the MFTK Foundation. So that it's not murky, because this is really not, none of this shit is charitable. Like, it's not really like that. It's let's be real. You're just trying to pay athletes. And the best way to do that is you have to have a clear gift. So in all of this, there's a lot of measuring contests and people who are trying to, this is really all a play for power. I tell some of my friends who I feel comfortable with, and you guys I feel comfortable with, the human need to own other humans is very, very strong. Nobody wants to admit this. Like, ever since slavery was taken away, people have been trying to figure out how to get slavery back. And hear me in what I'm saying. I know James don't make this. I'm not saying black or white. I'm just saying the need to own fucking humans. Why would you give $1 million to an athletic institution? There's no real good reason to do that. Besides, you want control over running some humans. I don't like anything enough to give $1 million to. I think when I die, if I have that much, I think I got 3.5 in life insurance policies. I ain't giving my kids $1 million a piece. Fuck them kids. I don't like anything that much, and I'll be dead. I'll be damned if I give my university that much. It's just, unless I'm a billionaire. Now, if I'm a billionaire, then I'm trying to own humans. I'm trying to be like Shah Khan. I want to own an NFL franchise, and it's hard to do that because there's only 31 of them that you can buy. It's hard to own an NBA because it's only 30 of them. It's hard to own MLB because I think it's less than 30. I don't know how many. I don't watch baseball. Hard to own hockey because there's not that many of them. It's a lot of colleges, though. That's why Ruiz pounds his chest. Ruiz runs shit. If Ruiz says, fuck Mario Cristobal tomorrow, or he tells the athletic, literally tells the athletic director, in order for me to I want you to fuck Mario Cristobal tomorrow. You know what he's going to try to do? He's going to try to fuck Mario Cristobal because he's got the bread to do it and the power and the clout. People chase that attention. Like, look at this. Look at how, if you want to see foolishness, look at the Big Three Twitter. The Big Three Twitter, for those who don't know, is Florida State, Miami, and Florida State Twitter. Guys were arguing about locker rooms that they'll never be in. Your locker room is poverty. Your locker room looks like a party bus. Your locker room looks like this. Mind you, none of them will be asked to be in that locker room. All the locker rooms are perfectly fine, by the way. Miami's locker room, that's their practice locker room. That's not it. Florida State's, that's going to eventually be our game day locker room. That's not our real locker room. Same thing with Florida. In the football-only facility, there'll be a separate locker room that would be bigger, have more stuff to it. One day, probably soon, I'm going to get the details of what's going into the football-only facility, and you'll hear it here first. Nobody else will have it because I got that pool, and I know who to ask, and I'm going to ask her. So, like, we're going to make that shit happen. Because I'm not a fake insider. I'm not an insider. I'm family. I scored in both those end zones, and I bled and sweat on that field. So, and most of you guys have some of your fondest memories with your parents were shared when I scored touchdowns. And you can't take that away. No matter how much you try to hate me, you'll never be able to erase the way I made you. The fact that your father probably only hugged you after we beat Miami in 05. And that was the first time he showed you true affection. So you can hate me all you want. But as I tell my daughter's mother, can't unsuck my dick. Sorry, it doesn't happen. Like, it doesn't work like that, no matter how much you hate me. But collectives are here to stay. People need to understand that. You need to embrace it. You need to, like, try your best to understand it. I would say if you're really, really unsure of who to give your money to, give your money to the boosters. If you have discretional income, extra of it, go ahead and give it to a collective. And I'm going to make this offer right here. If you, no matter what school you go to, if you have a player or specific player that you want to give money to, and you're afraid the collectives are going to take their percentage and all that's not going to go to the athlete, pull your resources together and I'll figure out a way to make sure we get your athlete exactly what they need. All right? Deal? Then that way you know it's going to who they want to go to. You know 100% of it's going to. Well, 95% technically. There's ways to finagle it, but like the state of Florida, you have to take. They're forcing people to take a percentage. But we'll make sure that happens. We'll make sure it's all legal and taken care of the proper way. Florida State is setting up their fields in Jacksonville, Florida right now. I got my inside man on the ground sending me text, and oh shit, never mind. Yeah, so there's that. The next thing that we want to get into is people really behaving badly. Actually, now before I get into that, let's keep it on college football. I have made it clear that there is one conference that I want to be a part of, and that's the Big Ten. I don't like the ACC. I haven't liked the ACC since I played it. I don't like ESPN's cockhold relationship with the SEC. It bothers me. Like, yeah. Oh, it's cuckold? Yeah. Okay, my bad. Cuckold. Whatever. But I'm like, I don't like the way the ESPN holds the cock of the SEC. How about that? Like, just to make sure I said it right, because I don't even know really what cuckold is. I think that's when you watch your old lady get banged by somebody else or vice versa. But I do know that's probably happening. But I also know that the SEC literally has their cock in the hand of the ESPN ABC. And in the way a lot of Republicans believe it, this is what Disney wants. They're owned by Disney, if you didn't know that. But like, Disney wants to try to make you gay. And that's the reason why they talk about them so much. But the Big Ten is Middle America. I have liked Middle America since I started watching this show called The Middle. Awful football played. Great show. Made me feel like, hey, Middle America's like the South and everywhere else. Good people there. Just very white. A lot of Hallmark Channel movies are centered in Middle America, then they go back to the big cities. But the expansion of what they're doing westward, with what they got with USC and UCLA, matches with what they're trying to do, what they try to do with Maryland, where they're already eastbound. So the next progression is to come on down south and scoop up two major powers. If we can bring Miami on board, great, but I don't really give a fuck about them either. Florida State would be great. What Florida State's trying to do in terms of academics makes sense with the Big Ten. I've explained this before. A lot of money going into that and greatness. But speaking of money, basically the Big Ten just said, hey, if you're gonna cheat on us and keep giving up the booty to that whore, the SEC, then you're gonna at least make us a happy housewife by paying us and giving it to our demands. ESPN said no, and then what they did was they went and found and brokered a deal between Fox, NBC, and CBS. Now CBS has booted the SEC to bring in the Big Ten. So everybody is programmed, whether they believe it or not, to especially SEC fans, to tune in at 3:30 on CBS. You've done that for the last almost 30 years. It's iconic. The music, just listening to the people who the old commentators. Fox News has been covering, not Fox News, excuse me. Fox Sports has been covering the Big Ten, and the NBC deal means that it's more likely that Notre Dame is probably going to come into fold. But right now, they are talking about the deal estimating to be almost $1.2 billion across all the schools. That's not including the fact that Apple is trying to get in on this streaming rights to the Big Ten network. How this all came apart, and this was John Oran, hope I said it right. ESPN has pulled out of Big Ten media rights negotiations, ending one of the longest sports media relationships in the business. ESPN said no to the conference's final offer of a 7-year, $380 million per year package. And he says story will be filed soon. Brett McMurphy stated the Big Ten finalized a media rights deal with Fox Sports, CBS, and NBC, sources told Action Network HQ. Unless there's a last-minute change, this will be the first time in 40 years Big Ten football and basketball games will not be on ESPN. Again, people are talking about $1.2 billion is what it's going to end up being. And now you split that across the schools, and again, the advantage will be crazy. The lineup, it'll be good for all college fans. If you love football as an overall sport, this is why NIL shouldn't mean much to people. Because this is the stuff that they're doing behind the scenes. There is a lot of money in college football, and the money's got to finally be dispersed around. And I think this just leads into Florida State eventually being into the Big Ten or one of those things. And I know a lot of pundits right now are saying we'll leave in 2036. If we do that, we might as well just end the program. And I don't think that's why you brought Mike Alford. I don't think that's why you brought any of these guys in to just lay down and take it. Unless the ACC goes and gets the $380 million that's lying around right now with ESPN and says, please, sir, can you please spare us a little bit? I don't see this shit happening. And even if we do that, it's such bitch made that I don't even necessarily think that it should happen. Going on to this, I want to challenge people's thought process. And, the problem with social media is that people have dumb, smart moments. Like, I think I got them. So this young lady right here, I'm saying young, I don't know how old she is. I just don't want to say she's old. She's white. That helps. I don't know. And she says this based off the SMU information. It's called the Boulevard Collective. It's who's planning on paying SMU $36 per year for NIL activity. Her name at CHEREZEY says, and here we go with college athletes making more than support staff, the athletic trainers, equipment, director of ops, etc. Good luck fielding teams without this personnel. Baby, I don't know what Power 5 school has the head athletic trainer making $36,000 or director of ops making $36,000 or shit like that. It just doesn't make any sense, like what you said. And now if you're talking about the students, like the student athletic trainer, last time I checked, nobody filled the stadium for them. But bigger than that, they literally apply to that, and their only way they can get a job is to get like reps. It's called a fucking internship. That's basically what they're doing. And if they don't do it, Like the only job for an athletic trainer is a physical therapist, and try looking at what the starting salaries are for them. It's probably not even that. So like here's what I had. Like everybody's involved in. So like I got some stuff that I was working with one person. It kind of fizzled through, and it was for something with the band. All you people who care about everything else, here's what nothing is stopping you from making a collective for athletic trainers. You realize that, right? Like if you care so fucking much, go do it. They've never not been able to work. They've never had restrictions. The only people who have restrictions are the student athletes, man. If you give a fuck, show it. But most of y'all don't give a fuck. You just talk like you do because you're concerned about somebody else's pockets, which is stop pocket watching. It's un-American. We're a capitalist society. Become a capitalist. Enjoy this shit. Now, sticking with college football and college football people behaving badly. This is kind of like my hate o'clock. So I'm going to go into that, and then there's some other shit that we'll vibe into that's been going on in the world that I just want to talk about. And then hate o'clock is brought to you by Green Acres Sporting Goods. Green Acres Sporting Goods is the go-to outdoor spot. Get everything you want. Guns, crossbows, bows and arrows, fishing equipment. They got a surplus of bullets. It's all kinds of weird, random shit that's happening. Right now, bow hunting season is in effect. Go get you a deer. Go kill a deer. All my Seminoles. Get in touch with your roots. Go out there and kill a deer with a goddamn bow. I think there should be like real like reality TV shows where you get to go, like the best hunters go get to hunt bears year round, but you can only use a bow and arrow. Like the old, like how the Indians used to do it. Like, because I think that's more of a fair shot. An automatic weapon, that's not fair. A crossbow though, because you gotta like even the one I had was still slow, and I was cheating because before you gotta put your foot in the ground, you gotta yank that bitch up, and then you gotta load it, and then like now I can crank it. But imagine you shoot at the bear and you miss, or the bear swats that bitch down, and now you gotta go. You gotta crank that bitch up quick, and then put the thing in, and then the bear comes at you and he's charging at you. That's a lot of pressure. But if you kill the bear that way, I'll respect the fuck out of you. Like, I mean, it's not that if you shoot the bear, I won't respect you. I'm just saying that would be exciting to watch. Like, there'll be a lot of anticipation and shit. But Green Acres got all that good stuff. Get your guns. Everybody should have a 9mm, a pump shotgun. Go get your concealed carry license. I try to scare you and tell you that the libs are coming for your guns, but they've been coming for your guns since like 70s. Shit ain't happened yet. Like, so they're not coming for your guns, but they're gonna make certain guns a little bit harder to get, rightfully so. But if you want them, they're still there. The ARs, they still got them. As a matter of fact, if you tell them Sports Den sent you get a discount. That's how fun loving we are with guns. Please, don't use them for hunting. I don't know what to tell you. They're fun to shoot, though. I will say that much. Hard ER. And when you can, and who can say it, and when you can say it, and when you can't say it. I just really think y'all should just stop trying to figure out who can say nigga and who can't. Just don't say it. I have literally gone most of my. I call it the house word for a reason. It should be said indoors. I've done probably thousands of shows at this point. I've been on radio since January 1st, 2015. So what does that give me? 7 years now? Yeah, 7 years. And I think Joe Rogan has said nigga more than I've ever said it. And he's white, and I'm supposed to be able to say it. Like, I guess my point with all of this stuff is I find ways to not say it. And because I know the excuse that pilgrims use, really not pilgrims, because pilgrim is code for a cold ass white person. So I call it cap. The cool ones get it. Basically, as crackers try to find a reason to use this shit because you want to play oppression Olympics. I can promise you nobody really wants to go around saying the word, like literally laws and shit were made for for all of this stuff. Like, I don't even hate privilege. I've told people this. I told a guy who's a very successful white man in his office right before I left to go to Tallahassee that I don't think white people should feel guilty, and I don't think anybody's trying to make you feel guilty for what's the perceived of white privilege. We just want you to acknowledge that there are some things that have been built into this world that makes it a little easier for you. Personally, I want equity. I don't want equality. I actually want it to be, I want every opportunity to be slanted in my favor that I've earned because I've worked hard to become who I am. And I think anybody who does the same should want the same. So, and I tell people my son has privilege. My son has Florida State privilege. No matter what you do, you will never be able to experience a Florida State game in the manner in which my son does. Very few can. Typically, those guys play. My son has not earned a goddamn thing to be able to watch Florida State games the way he watches them. My son has not earned the right to be able to sit behind the desk of the defensive coordinator, and type on his fucking computer. I can tell you that much. My son hasn't played a game of tackle football yet. That doesn't happen for 2 more weeks. But he does have privilege because of what his father did. That's what privilege is. But privilege doesn't mean you don't have to work. So, like, if my son gets a scholarship to Florida State, he probably got acknowledged and recognized more than others because of what his father did. But his ass had to go out there and get hit. He had to go sweat. He had to go do a bunch of other shit to be able to get it. It's the reality. If my son doesn't recognize that, then if that doesn't happen for my son, you know what I did as a dad? I did a shitty ass job as a father. So for you people who don't want to recognize it, or you say you didn't participate in it, it's not my fault that you're shitty at the opportunities made for you. You should be mad at yourself for not taking advantage of the shit. I say this to say, nobody's stopping you from saying the N-word. I'm tired of people using that as an excuse. Say it. Say it as much as you want to say it. Feel free. Let it rolls off your tongue so much. Miles, you got that Freaky Friday clip. There's a song I'm going to go a step further. I understand why you like saying it. I never understood it until Little Dicky and Chris Brown made a song called Freaky Friday when he switched places. And then when I saw him say it and I saw how creative we get to use it, I understood. Because it's like, bitch, it's like motherfucker. This motherfucker, right? Motherfucker could be a threat, a compliment, all those things. But like, you don't just can we like lower it down. I actually don't want to say it, but I want you to understand this video we're about to show you. It's a white person in Chris Brown's body, and now he feels like he has the right to be able to say the N-word, and he's just going on just saying the N-word in all the different varieties and different play capacities that he can say it. And I was like, damn, I never thought about it like that because you just get the gift. So I get the intrigue. Now, I'm going to say this to you, though. You can say whatever word you want to say in the English language. You can do whatever you want to do in America. It's a free country. It does not give you the freedom of consequences. You say that shit and somebody might dishinge your jaw. Like, you gonna get hit. Say it. The problem is most of y'all want to say it in the comfort of no accountability. Let's be real. That's really what it is. Because you're not going out and saying it like, you ain't going into the neighborhoods where I did the book bag drives and just saying it on the corner. You ain't out these saying, hey, what up, niggers? How y'all living? No. Because that would be foolish. You're saying it because, and then when people say cracker is a bad word, then fine, I'll give it. That's why I try not to say it. But man, Cracker Barrel makes $5.1 billion a year. And it literally is, cracker is a term for Southern living. Like, literally, that's what cracker means. Outside of being a saltine and a delicious piece of bread, stale piece of bread. You literally would not be caught dead in Nigger Barrel. So you know why. Come on, man. You know why it's bad. Just because we've seasoned it up like we've done most shit in America. Most of the stuff that y'all like to eat, like fried chicken, pork chops, chitlins, all this shit was bottom fed shit that we just seasoned up and made it delicious. Just because we took something and seasoned it up and made it look cool doesn't mean that it's still not good for your health. Eat all the fried chicken you want. Guess what's gonna happen eventually? You're gonna have a heart attack. Guess you gotta die the way you want to die. So if that's how you want to die by saying some shit, then fine. But I always say this, freedom of anything is not freedom of consequences. So James, why are you saying this word that you still, even though you've said it numerous times on this show, you still cannot get close to Joe Rogan's number? It's because a longtime Oklahoma coach decided, I think it's Cale Gundy, decided that he wanted to fuck up his career by using this word. And the crazy thing is that he used it in a manner in which a bunch of motherfucking black people are around. But he was in a power of authority. And it's not about if everybody was uncomfortable, because there's been a lot of players that like him as a man. I have this that I always tell people. I told my dear friend Denny Thompson the same thing, which I know he would. I don't think Denny would ever get in this situation where he would do. He's around too many black people. He understands the consequences. I said, Denny, actually, perfect example. God rest his dead. I had a good friend, Aaron. And Aaron was who I was supposed to first start an NIL deal with. And Aaron literally copied and pasted rap lyrics. He's white. And it had the N-word in it. He got some heat for it. And he said, man, people are calling me racist. I'm not racist, James. You know that. Can you defend me? I said, fuck no. Hell no. I'll help you ride through this because I know you're not racist. But I'm not putting my black. The first thing everybody does as black is put your fucking black card on some shit. Nah, you did the wrong thing. I'll be there for you through it. We're gonna get through this. But I'm not gonna defend you for doing some shit that you did, and just show you're wrong for it. Pay your penance and you'll be all right. But here's what Cale Gundy allegedly, and this is what other people have said, so I don't know, I wasn't there. But longtime OU assistant Cale Gundy is resigning. He said he picked up an iPad of a distracted player during a meeting and read aloud words that had nothing to do with football. One particular word that I should never, under any circumstance, have uttered and was displayed. And Cale Gundy gives this long thing, and he said, I owe it to Sooner Nation to be transparent about what led to this decision. Last week, during a film session, I instructed players to take notes. I noticed a player was distracted, and I picked up his iPad and read aloud the words that were written on the screen. The words displayed had nothing to do with football. One particular word that I should have never, under any circumstance, have uttered was displayed on that screen, and in a moment, I did not realize what I was reading, and as soon as I did it, I was horrified. Before I even I love them words, man. And I don't believe Cale Gundy's racist. Just putting it out there. But I just love like this the wording, like the horrified, like all this shit, like the words that always get used and shit with the cleanup stuff. Like it's just wild because that's horrified is one of the words you don't use in everyday language. So it makes you feel like, oh shit, like that's crazy. I want to be clear. The words I read aloud from that screen were not my words. What I said was not malicious. It wasn't even intentional. Still, I am mature enough to know what the word I said was shameful and hurtful, and no matter my intentions. The unfortunate reality is that someone in my position can cause harm without ever meaning to do so. It's in that circumstance, a man of character accepts accountability. I take responsibility for my mistake. I apologize. While considering this decision, I have been overwhelmed by the love and support. Blah, blah, blah. He's been at Oklahoma for a while. He got there straight out of high school in 1990. I don't believe Cale Gundy's a bad man. I believe he truly is sorry for what he did. And I believe what happened to him is what happens to a lot of people. You got comfortable.
Yeah.
And you did that. You pulled it up. And I don't believe it was any malicious intent, but I do know like it ain't like nobody's Ron Burgundy. You read whatever comes on the teleprompter. Like I use words that are oftentimes deemed that men shouldn't use. And if I'm around a woman and she tells me that she doesn't want me to use those words, I do everything in my power not to. I do use descriptors though. I say to somebody, man, you acting like a bitch. I don't really mean like a woman. I know bitch is a female dog, but I just really mean I'm typically referring to males. I don't, but I'm not gonna argue with a woman about how hurtful that word is to the woman, because, and you want to know who uses it more colorfully than anybody could possibly use it? Listen to women and read their fucking group text. Well, actually, don't. Not if you want your sanity. Don't ever read a woman's group chat. But my point in all of that is that he made a mistake. He knew he used the word that he shouldn't have done. And a lot of times what I ask people is, you have the freedom to do whatever you want, but is that freedom are you ready to accept the accountability for it? And the reality is most people aren't. That's what the argument comes down to. Like, if you want to eliminate me, or what they call it, cancel, fine. I'll be all right. I'll make money doing something else. I promise you I'll be okay. Nobody has recreated themselves more than I have. I'll still give food drops. I'll still do all the other shit that I do. But that's also why I don't work for anybody. I work for myself. You know how many times people have tried to fire me from my own job? Like, you ever got a letter to your info of somebody complaining about you when you're the owner and they didn't know? It's hilarious. That was great. But Brent Venables decides that he needs to come off the top rope a little bit. Got to say some shit. I got to put my foot down, God damn it. As painful as it's been dealing with Coach Gundy's resigning from the program, it doesn't touch the experience of pain felt by a room full of young men I'm charged to protect, lead, and love. There are a few things I would like to address. Coach Gundy resigned from the program because he knows what he did was wrong. He chose to read about to his players not once, but multiple times. A racially charged word that is objectionable to everyone. It does not reflect the attitude and values of our university or our football program. This is not acceptable, period. Coach Gundy did the right thing in resigning. He knows our goals for excellence, and the coaches have special responsibilities to set an example. He also knows that while he was always be a part of the OU family, that his words affected many of us and did not represent the principles of our university. Again, his resignation was the right thing to do, and will move forward and positively. That's a hey, don't go out here acting like you just said the N-word once. You said it multiple times, damn it. That's the first time wasn't the first time we could just sweep under the rug, but god damn it, when you said it 3 times, that was it. That was enough. I had it. Now, as in most things, and I've had dear friend of mine who, and now they've, again, cancel culture doesn't exist because, and I'm speaking on this guy, like, he lost his contract to Florida State because he dressed like Bob Marley. All the way. But not all the way. Bob Nesta Marley is lighter than me. To put on blackface and wear dreads and say you're Bob Marley is, I'm sorry, that I'm not saying it's not, again, it's not racist. It's racish. It's a little sprinkle on it. A little not Splenda. A little splash. Was it Dash used to be the salt alternative.
How come we know better than to paint ourselves a different color?
Let me tell you that, because people have put up the thing of Dave Chappelle, and they've put up white chicks. But here's the difference. Here's the difference. I want to tell you that it wouldn't be bad, right? So here's the thing with saying nigga, blackface, and all these things, right? If you use them in the most kindest, like, best form, it wouldn't sting. So White Chicks, the movie that the Wayans brothers made, was about 2 rich white women. Basically 2 men dressed in drag, giving all of the positive portrayals and some of the less of them, but they were rich white women that they were portraying. Not trailer park trash. Not Tyrone Koppel. Dave Chappelle was playing a white newscaster speaking in perfect English. Like, I mean, they get in blackface and portray the words. It's like Studs. The only problem I have with Studs is, like, why don't none of y'all dress like black male doctors? Why y'all all dress like drug dealers? Is that the only thing that you see in black men? Like, come on, man. There's other black male tropes that you can be, right?
True.
That's the real issue. But again, like Bob Marley ain't dark skinned. Like Bob Marley he put all you had to do was put the dreads on and a Bob Marley t-shirt, and you know what? Everybody would have got the joke. But anyways, that guy bounced back. He got the Florida State contracts again. He's building a student union, gonna build the football only facility. It's dope. Because you know why he didn't get canceled? He's good at what he fucking does. There is no such thing as cancel culture. You can be fired. Anybody can be fired for any given reason, though. Doesn't mean you were canceled. This guy's fired, but he's been working since fucking 1990s. He's old as shit. And you know what's gonna even in the Brent Venables piece, he can always come around OU. He could get hired by somebody else. The Iowa strength and conditioning coach did racist shit too. He just didn't say the N-word, but like, you know, he sagged his pants and he talked and jived and said all this other shit, just as racist as saying the N-word. And got his ass fired. And you know what Urban Meyer did? Urban Meyer hired his ass. The only reason Urban fired him was because he was forced to.
That's true. Yeah, you're right.
It's just, but again, I implore you, dead the fuck serious. Dead the fuck serious. If you want to say the shit, go ahead and say it. Say whatever you want to say. Just stop being afraid of accountability. That's the truth behind it.
Right.
You know what nobody goes out and says? You know what nobody has an itch or a hankering to say? And I'm so terrified of these motherfuckers that I won't say it. I don't even know what the Jewish. I think I've heard of it.
No.
It's one person who's had the balls to do it, and he didn't get canceled because he's so fucking good, and that's Michael Jackson.
He did?
Yeah, it was in the song. Not in the song. I think they don't care about us.
Wow.
But I think he was just saying like a bunch of different words. And just going on like just all the different words and saying they don't care about us, but I'm not finna go down that route because I don't want no smoke. I probably bro. I'm good. Hell, Beyonce even just said, okay, well, damn, I thought it was some word I guess that's synonymous with like gay people or something like that or whatever, and she just went on ahead and just scrubbed it out. I was a Beyonce petty as fuck, bro. Like, you see what she did to not Keisha Cole, Khalees? That bitch was bitching and took her whole fucking song. Like, now nobody gets paid. She was going to get paid and just said, all right, bitch. That's Beyonce. You know that motherfucker going platinum. But dead the fuck serious, though. Dead the fuck serious. Do what you want to do. But just realize this. If you're a grocery clerk at Publix, you're probably going to get fired. It is not, you didn't get canceled. It's just because they could find another bagger anywhere. Like, a lot of people want that job. If you're a secretary, you're probably going to get fired. If you're Bill Gates or if you're Tesla, probably not. You're rich and you can just recreate your own opportunity. And if you're really, really good, you'll get your chance. Look, I mean, it's so many examples of people.
Liam Neeson, he said he was looking to hunt. So,
yep. What up, man? Oh, just you can say whatever you want to say, guys. I promise you. But the problem is are you ready to deal with the consequences? I got a good friend. Actually, Scott just walked in. Scott has a great story of Ricky. If you haven't met, so you got sometimes we're going to start doing the live shows on Monday nights. I'm gonna try to get Ricky on. Ricky is a different type of large black man. So Ricky was on the boat with Scott, and Scott had a friend that had a little bit too much to drink. And he decided that he wanted to say, what is it? The horrifying word? Is that what came? The horrifying word. And Ricky goes over to Scott and says, hey, man, I'm about to kill this motherfucker. And when Ricky, I think Ricky would have fucking put that bitch in the ocean. And you know what? You know how this is how you end races. You know what Scott Ass did? Now, Scott is my good friend. Sounds like Stone Cold. About 5. What's Scott? Maybe Scott might be 5'7". Bad motherfucker though. Stocky. Scott punches slaps the fuck out of the dude, beats the shit out of him, all for racial harmony. But you know what he tells him? It's better that I whoop your ass. Trust me, I'm doing this in love for you. Because if I'd have let Ricky get you, Ricky would have fucking killed you. That motherfucker learned accountability that day. Some people learn with their jaws getting tapped. Some people got to get fired. I don't know, man. Don't know what it is. But again, feel free. Let it roll off your tongue. Say it, but I can't protect you from getting fired. So, speaking of letting things roll off your tongue, there's a great one. Black women are gorgeous. Some of the finest creatures. I don't like. God was in his bag with some of y'all. Now, some of y'all ugly as sin, but a lot of y'all are fine. I ain't gonna lie, man. I don't like her raps per se because I can't really. I don't twerk. I don't shake my ass. I have no need to suck a dick. None of this stuff. But Megan Thee Stallion, sometimes she spit bars. I'm a Cardi B fan because Cardi B raps about that shit. But Cardi B raps about whipping ass and doing some gangster shit too. I can get into that. But Meg's out of music, I don't have WAP. I like WAP, so I can get into WAP because I like it. Only people who don't like WAP are like Matt Gaetz. And some. So, you ever realize how much these motherfuckers hate pussy? But y'all love to attack gay people. Isn't that shit kind of weird? Oh, whatever. Just me. I ain't trying to get political. I'm a Republican, by the way, but it's just some of the shit that my pilgrim Republicans talk about make me question: what are we really on the same team? Like, are you fighting in your best interest? But Megan Thee Stallion's fine. She's got an ass, is natural. She's tall. She's got all the qualities that you could like. She is breedable. Even though, I don't think she knows that a stallion is a male horse. But semantics. We'll get over like all that shit. She's a woman. She's all girl. Chris Rock had this thing where he said he saw Meg Thee Stallion on Saturday Night Live. And it was one of the greatest bars, and one of the things that ever since I never thought I would live to see 21. So part of the I don't give a fuck attitude that people think I have is because I never expected to live this long anyway. And now I only really have one goal in life. I don't want to be a billionaire. Don't need to be all that. I just want to be an old black man. Because old black men just don't give a fuck. And they just say a lot of shit, and they all seem to have cash on them all the time. But Chris Rock told, Meg Thee Stallion, hey, holla at me when you get into your old N-word phase. Date your rappers and your entertainers, your point guards now. Get that young dick. But when you're ready to get you some old stable dick, come on, holla at me. That's something that an old black man would say to somebody. That's some old game. But we seen Chris Rock get slapped. And the funny thing is that, now granted, Will Smith wouldn't slap The Rock, but he would slap Chris Rock. I didn't even know Meg Thee Stallion had a boyfriend, and her boyfriend is Playboy, not Playboy Cardi. It's shit. Yeah, it's Cardi. Partisan Fontaine. He was a pretty good rapper. He's more of a writer than he is a rapper, but Party is, what everybody's saying. Kevin, another minuscule, but Kevin Hart and The Rock are in a movie where they play superheroes' pets. And I don't know. I'll probably end up having to watch this shit because I got kids. But outside of that, I wouldn't watch it. It's smart, Kevin and The Rock. Make that consistent back. They asked him, if you could be any celebrity's pet, who would you be? And The Rock straight up said, Meg Thee Stallion. And he shook his head like this, Meg Thee Stallion. Like, we know why he wants to be Meg Thee Stallion. And then Kevin Hart is dying laughing. And then her boyfriend felt compelled to have to flex and defend the honor. And see, this is what gets black men killed. This is why I always say when people say protect black women, I ain't protected no black woman that don't have a last name Coleman. I'm not going to just die because I've told my female, I have a few gorgeous colleagues. And one of them, we were covering the Super Bowl together. I'll tell Sheena, go follow at Sheena_Marie. Gorgeous, beautiful, amazingly talented. We were covering the Super Bowl, and she was flirting with, or no, she wasn't. She was just talking. The guy was trying to flirt with her. I forgot. He's a heavyweight champion at one point. Knocked out Roy Jones Jr. So you guys will put the pictures together, but I like to fight, but I've never gotten a fight with a heavyweight champ before. I ain't about to get knocked out for pussy. I ain't getting, and I don't have any interest in getting it. It's not gonna happen. And another guy just actually got killed. One guy got critically injured. One guy got killed because his sister decided to say, "I'm gonna call my brothers," and they went over his house and motherfucker got murked. But I don't think guns will come into play, but there is absolutely nothing you can do if Meg Thee Stallion decides to go with The Rock besides say, hey, man, I appreciate the time that me and you shared together, Meg. That's a glow up. What are you going to do to The Rock? The man's handsome. He's big. He's strong. Even though people say wrestling is fake, the outcomes are fake. That shit they do in between is fucking real. So we know he can get hit by a fucking metal chair. And then he can punch probably with the same force as that metal chair. And he's damn near, and he's a billionaire. He's richer than you. He can whoop your ass and he can take your girl. Take the L. Take the L, bro. Again, stop trying to save these chicks and take your L. So on that note, man, we haven't been on for a while, so we went a little long, but just make sure you check out the sponsors. We got a lot of big announcements coming on. Check the NIL movement. The book bag drops again went amazing. Right now, if you want to help raise money for the STEM camp, please do. But go check it out, Miles. You got that that up there. So that's the next thing we got. That's August 27th. If nothing else, if you've got a kid that's middle school age up to high school, please go to jamescolemangivesback.com and check out this. Sign up and register for the STEM camp. It's the 19th, 20th, and the 21st. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday. On the 19th, it's from 6 to about 8 p.m. Saturday is like 12 to 3. Sunday is 12 to 3. If you go, you fill out the survey. I think we have 50 slots. They're going to go fast. If you want to donate any kind of money to that, please just inbox us or check us out. There are some costs that are associated with it, but we are going to have this camp. It's something that's important to me, getting these kids opportunities to learn how to make money in sports. So it's going to be our first time doing this. If it goes well, this will be a quarterly thing that we'll do with some ongoing education, eventually getting us to where we'll have ongoing mentorship opportunities for kids. But on that note, I appreciate you guys chopping it up with me. We'll see you on Friday.